get down to questions. Sarah Nathan in Sydney, you have the Prime Minister's ear. What would you like to ask?
Mr. Rudd, I'm a Tamil who fled Sri Lanka due to the Sri Lankan government's systemic killing of Tamil civilians. United Nations figures indicate there's more than 88,000 Tamil civilians still kept in internment camp, even though the war finished 11 months ago. UNHCR has not changed its guidelines on Sri Lanka since the end of the war. Even our own Australian Department of Foreign Affairs tells us not to go to Sri Lanka because of violence in that country. Under these circumstances, is it a political move or a humanitarian move for you to suspend processing of asylum seeker applications from Sri Lanka?
Sarah, thank you for your question. Our policy hasn't changed. Our policy is that when it comes to asylum seekers who are not genuine, they're not accepted and they're sent back home. For those who are genuine and in genuine fear of persecution in their countries of origin, then of course Australia will process people and provide appropriate safe haven. That's the balance in the policy. But what's happened, Koshi and Sarah, is that we have now changing security circumstances in large parts of Sri Lanka. They've recently had democratic elections there. Outside of the Jaffna Peninsula, at the very top of the country, the rest of the country is going okay. We're therefore basing our changing processing arrangement for asylum seekers in that country based on what the reporting is from within the country. Large parts of it are more secure, some parts are not. Therefore, it depends where the people come from. The same with Afghanistan. Okay. So the decision we've taken is to suspend all processing now, and we're going to see how the security situation unfolds. If it continues to improve, you'll find more and more of these applications rejected and more sent back home.
Is that fair, though, to suspend it, because the Afghani situation is still just as volatile as previously? That northern part of Sri Lanka, and particularly the Tamils in these camps, and the government there is not letting any observers go and see these, 40 to 80,000 people that they've locked up. Is that fair to suspend it?
It depends where people come from within the island of... If you look, as I said,
so
the
if they
Jaffna
still
Peninsula,
come from the north,
you've got to look carefully. The suspension applies right now, okay?
Right.
And because the situation is still unfolding, but in other parts of the country it is stabilising. That's the point. You mentioned Afghanistan. Afghanistan, there are parts of that country which are also more stable than they were before. Therefore, you've got to make a decision which fairly reflects where people come from, not just from the country, but from the parts of the country as well. As I said, if people are not genuine asylum seekers, then they'll be rejected and sent back home. If they are genuine asylum seekers, then consistent with governments in the past, we have an annual quota, I think, of about 13,000 across the nation. Same under Mr Howard, same before that as well. And those who seek asylum would be accommodated within that national quota for Australia.
Okay. You're going to have an interesting week.